messengers, warning creatures of the grave danger.
Sir, don't you think about suppose someone stolen something and he's got the punishment to chop his hand? You don't think it's a so harsh step?
It is harsh, but you tell me one thing, na? And not chopping privately, you have to chop in public, Islamic law says. Why in public? So everyone comes to know. Once you chop one person, all robbers will stop robbing. Are you interested in stopping robbing? Or are you interested in not being harsh?
Do you think it should be implemented in India also?
Everywhere in the world, leave aside India. It should be implemented throughout the world, then you'll get result. You tell me one thing, without this law, I am asking, which country has the least rate of robbery in the world? There are many Islamic countries, we don't follow this law. You see in Pakistan, there's so much of theft and robbery. You go to Bangladesh, so much of theft and robbery is there. Wherever this law is implemented, it's the least rate. So what I'm trying to tell you is that do you want to stop the robbery or do you want to encourage robbery? Why? And the question is that hardly anyone robs there. Here people are robbing. So what you are doing, encouraging them to rob. Then you're putting them behind bars for 1 month or for 2 months. Again they come out, again they rob. So if you want to stop, people will not rob and people will not be punished also. It is 2 in 1, you understand? The law is so strict, why should a person rob? And if a rapist knows that if he rapes someone and if he is given death penalty, he will not rape only. He won't think of raping. You know, rape karenge. According to American statistics of 1990 FBI record, every day 1,756 rapes took place. In 1996, 2,713. In 2006, some more than 2,000 cases. Every day. That means every 32 seconds, one rape is taking place. We are here since half an hour. Already 50 rapes are taking place in USA since we are here. And the statistics say, out of those rape cases, 16% are reported. Out of 16% reported, 10% are arrested. 1.6% are arrested. Out of those arrested, only 50% undergo a trial. That means 0.8% undergo a trial. That means 125 rapes you commit. Chance you will get punishment is 1. Very good bargain. No? And out of that, 50% judge says, pehli baar kya usko kam punishment denge. Though the law says 7 years rigorous imprisonment for a rapist, 125 times you rape, you get a punishment. 50% time the judge says he's done the first time, give him only 1 year. Now 125 rapes you commit and chances you get punished that also 1 year. Who would like to try it? Here you know if you rape 100% death penalty, no one will think of raping. Unless you say in my book of law, in my understanding raping is good, then you give an ad in the paper. Okay, rape the woman, then I've got no problem.
Sir, if male and female with their own consent they are having relations, sexual relations, then Islamic Sharia law, what would be the punishment for?
Yes. If they have with their consent that they become husband-wife, there's no problem at all. If you say with the consent to enjoy and corrupt the society, then Sharia law doesn't agree. If you say with consent, okay, I want to be a wife, I want to be a husband, no problem, no one can stop them. They can give the consent, no one can stop them. But if they say, okay, let us only enjoy, and then after that, no, then we keep on changing partners. This is common in the Western world. In our Eastern society, I wouldn't like my sister changing partners every second night. I would not like that. I would not like my wife going out with someone and changing partners. It is our culture. So the Western culture has actually corrupted the society. So that is the reason Islam doesn't believe. If you really want to spend life with consent, marry each other, no one can stop you. You marry your consent and stay together. If there's a problem, you can take divorce, you can marry someone else, no problem. But saying that without marriage we'll keep on changing partners, Islam doesn't agree in the corruption of the society. Therefore I said that if you corrupt the society, then you should be punished. And this is there in all the religions, not only in Islam. Even Christianity doesn't agree.
So what is the punishment, Dr. Naik? What is the punishment that a couple?
One more thing, that if someone does an adultery, the punishment is only there if you get 4 witnesses. If someone does adultery and we have no witnesses, then you cannot give any punishment to the person. If someone alleges that this lady is not good or this man is not good, he's been doing adultery, then you have to produce 4 witnesses. If you produce 4 witnesses, then in Islam, the punishment is stoning to death, which is there in many other religions also. It's not only in Islam, it is in Christianity, then Judaism also. You read the Bible, the word of adultery should be stoned. It's not a new law, it's in even other religions. But they don't implement it, they don't follow it. But in Islam, you should have 4 witnesses. And if someone lays an allegation that this man and woman are doing adultery, and if he cannot produce 4 witnesses, he gets 80 lashes. Because many a time we keep on blaming people that this woman is not good, this man is not good. If you lay an allegation against a woman's chastity or modesty, according to Surah Nur, chapter number 24, verse number 4, and you cannot produce 4 witnesses, you get 80 lashes. That means you cannot, here in our society, you can abuse a woman, you can call her by any name and you walk through. In Islamic law, if you abuse a woman and call her something, and you cannot prove it, cannot produce 4 witnesses, 80 lashes. This is the protection she gets. In our society, whether it be in India or whether Western country, you can abuse a woman, you can abuse her and get away free. In Islamic law, if you lay an allegation against a woman's modesty, and lay an allegation that she is unchaste or she is modest, if you cannot produce 4 witnesses, 80 lashes. So this again means that if someone does privately and gets away with it, he'll have no punishment here. He'll have punishment in the hereafter. Someone decides personally and does it, he's breaking the law of the Sharia. He's breaking the rule of the Creator. But here he won't get punishment because there are no 4 witnesses. He'll get the punishment in the hereafter. That's the reason never, 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 ever in any hadith of the sayings of the Prophet, in the history of Islam, talking at the time of the Prophet, at the time of companion, has any woman been stoned to that except she voluntarily said. She voluntarily came to the Prophet and said that I have committed adultery, give me punishment. Prophet said, go away. Again he come, again, then the punishment was given. There is not at all, there is no hadith, sayings of the Prophet, that anyone was, allegation was laid against somebody was punished. It was the woman herself repented. And she came to the Prophet and said, I have done adultery, please forgive me, punish me. Prophet says, go away. Again she comes, then the Prophet puts the punishment. And then the Prophet said that the way she has repented, if you distribute in the whole city of Medina, it will make everyone pure. That means the Prophet praised her, that she did a sin, she repented, she came to the Prophet and told the Prophet, punish me so that I will get a better life in the hereafter. And then the Prophet first avoided, and then he executed the punishment and said that her repentance is accepted.
Dr. Naik, what about, isn't it true that that 4 witnesses is also required for rape?
No, there's a misunderstanding. Adultery is willingly done by 2 people, they're witnesses. In rape, there can be medical evidence, there can be other circumstances evidence sufficient. For rape, if that's the case, then everyone will do rape. They'll go in a closed door and do it, there's no witness. The circumstantial evidence is medical evidence sufficient to prove. If it's proven, 4 witnesses not required because it's an allegation against the woman. It is done by force by somebody. In adultery, both are doing willingly. So therefore, 4 witnesses are required. But if someone forces on a woman and does rape, then circumstantial evidence, legal evidence, medical evidence, if proved without doubt, it's sufficient. 4 witnesses are not a must.
So where you find live-in relationship?
Living relationship.
Live-in relationship.
In Islam?
Yeah.
In Islam, there's nothing like living relationship. That causes nothing but adultery. That's fine, you want to go, you want to stay together. Islam doesn't believe in that. Islam believes there should be a contract. Marriage, according to the Quran, nikah is a marital contract, a sacred covenant. That means if you have to stay together, have a contract between husband and wife. And in the contract, you can lay down conditions, which are there. If you hear my talk on women's rights in Islam, various conditions can be laid down. You can even lay a condition saying that, fine, I don't want my husband to take a second wife. She can lay any condition, what is permissible. She can lay a condition that, fine, I'll marry you only if you give me so much money. I'll marry you only if you give me monthly so and so this. I'll marry you if I give me whatever condition. He may agree, he may not agree. But living without a contract is nothing but adultery in Islam, zina, which is prohibited. Islam doesn't believe in living relationship without being husband and wife. If those who are not husband and wife, they stay together and have sex and say, fine, when we want to live, we'll live. When we want to part, we'll part. Now the court is saying, even living in a relationship, if the man walks out, he'll be sued. So what is it? It is the same as husband and wife. Does it make sense? Now the court in India and other countries, what they say, that even if you have lived in a relationship and the man walks out, he can be sued. So what is the difference between living and marriage? It's the same thing. So what they say, even if they have not married, but if they're living together with consent, if they live together, and if the boy walks away, the girl can sue her. So living and marriage is the same. Only the wording is different. So in Islam, what we believe, it should be with consent. There should be witnesses. That's fine. This girl wants to marry the boy wants to marry her. What is the contract is laid down? He has to give a marital gift. The man has to give a meher. A meher is a marital gift, should be given to the woman. And she can demand anything. Quran says she can even demand a mountain of gold. These are the rights a woman has got. In our Indian culture, it's opposite. It is the woman who gives dowry to the husband, correct? In Islam, it is the opposite. It is the woman can demand from the husband, even a mountain of gold, the Quran says. That's a different question. If he doesn't have a mountain of gold, he says, I cannot give. So whatever he can afford, if they mutually agree, so giving a marital gift is compulsory for a marriage to solemnize.
Sir, why that meher? Why it can't be considered as a dowry?
It is a dowry. It is a dowry, but opposite. It is dower. In English, we call dower. But it is from male to the female. It is from the bridegroom to the bride. In Indian culture, it is the bride who gives to the bridegroom. In Islam, it is opposite. It is dower. It is dower, but it is the opposite. In Indian culture, the would-be wife, the bride, gives to the bridegroom. In Islam, the bridegroom gives to the bride. The English word is dower of meher, or dowry, but it is opposite.
Warnest creatures of the grave danger.
Dr. Naik, I was wondering if perhaps you could tell me that the Taliban also tried to implement Sharia law in Afghanistan, but we saw a great many human rights violations. We saw an extremely poor country. We saw women being ill-treated. We saw women being pulled out of schools, not being given an education, not being able to work, dying in thousands because they couldn't get medical help. Because even women doctors were not allowed to work. You know, you say that Sharia law would make the world a better place, but then what happened in Afghanistan?
Point to be noted, I don't know of any country in the world which is implementing Sharia totally. I don't know of any country. I don't know of any country in my knowledge which is implementing Sharia totally. Some countries are using criminal Sharia law. Some people are using economical Sharia law. I don't know of any country in the world which implements 100% Sharia today. I don't know of any country. You are saying that Taliban implemented, I don't know. What news you get in the media, it keeps on changing. So you asked me to comment on Taliban, I am not on a survey. What Taliban does? You asked me a particular situation, that can anyone prevent a woman from studying? No, it cannot. Has Taliban done that? I don't know. Because I am a man who keeps on traveling very regularly. I am not here to support Taliban or to go against them. To give my views on Taliban, I have to do a study on Taliban. I, being a man of media, I get different views. I know many people, many doctors, Muslims have gone there and they've praised Taliban. I've got many news about Yuan Redley, who went and she praised Taliban. On the other side, we here in BBC and CNN, they abuse Taliban. So me, if you ask me how are Taliban, I say, I don't know. Don't talk to me about individuals. Ask me about principles. You ask me who did 9/11 should be condemned, yes. Whether Bin Laden did, whether the people in America did, I don't know. If you go on the net, there are so many proofs, 75 scientists of American. They say there are warmongers in White House who did it. You ask me, did the people of White House did it or Bin Laden? I don't know. So similarly, if you ask me, does Islam permit a woman not to be educated? No. The first guidance given in the Quran to the whole of humankind was not to pray, was not to give charity, was not to perform Hajj. It was ikra, it was to read. And our beloved Prophet Muhammad said that it is obligatory on every Muslim, man or woman, to acquire knowledge. The Prophet said it is obligatory for the parents to teach their children, especially their daughters. Now what Taliban did, I don't know, because I get different views. I'm not here to support Taliban, neither go against them. Yuan Redley, who was a non-Muslim Britisher, have you heard of her? Yuan Redley. She went to do a research on Taliban. She was arrested by the Taliban. She was so impressed with them. She comes back and then asked her, how did they treat you? So she said they treated me like this. Now if I tell you her story, you will think I'm supporting Taliban, therefore I won't tell you her story. I'm not telling that her story is right or wrong. So what I hear from BBC is completely opposite. What I hear National Geography, BBC, these Taliban are beating the women. Here Yuan Redley, a white European woman, says the way they respected me. I can't believe. I thought they were going to rape me and they respected me, they wanted to search me. They wait for 1 hour. I said, what? She couldn't understand. Then they got a lady to search her. Now which country will do that? If they catch a criminal, will they wait for a lady to search? They wait for a lady to come and search her. She was so irritated. She thought that they want to rape her. They waited for a woman to come and do a search. So what you realize that what information we get, I'm not saying that Yuan Redley's story is correct and BBC story is wrong. What I'm trying to say, I am a man who has got millions of followers. What I'm trying to say, I don't know what Taliban have done. We get news from the other quarter that Taliban say that the women to work out, when they go out to work, it is not a very good place. It's immodest. Let them not go to work. We will pay their salary at the doorstep. Now this information, I would prefer my daughter or my wife not going out and modeling and wearing obscene clothes and dancing. stay at home, I'll give you salary. I would prefer that. No, this is the news I get. I get otherwise news that Taliban are saying that don't go to work, stay at home. Two different views, two different versions. I'm asking your sister, would you like to go and dance outside and get a salary? Or the Taliban said, don't go, don't dance, stay at home, I will give you salary. Which would you prefer?
I would prefer to work.
To work at dancing?
Not dancing, but work as a journalist, work as a lawyer, work as a
My
doctor.
question, sister, was that if the situation is such that the workplace is not modest, and if someone tells you the workplace where you have to go is you have to expose and you have to do immodest things, would you prefer going to work and get immodest things, or someone says, okay, don't go, sit at home, I'll give you a salary at your doorstep? Which would you prefer? Best is to work in a modest place, which even I would agree. But now we get two different reports. I'm asking the question that if what report that we get from the other side of the world, that the place where they work is immodest, it is preferable to stay at home, don't go to work, I'll give you your salary at your doorstep. So which would you prefer as a woman, sister?
Sir, my idea of modesty and another person's idea of modesty may be very different.
Fine,
Hence, if that's
so
being
that's fine.
forced on me, then it would be a problem.
No, no, no. The thing is, what I'm asking a question, if the Taliban say that you have to do a job, you have to do modeling, you may like modeling, some may not like modeling. But in Islam, we don't believe in women exposing the body to earn money. I would not like my sister exposed. You would like, it's your choice. But if someone who's controlling, the choice that is, as I told you, that you cannot force someone to do something which he wants, which is not causing a problem. But if someone wants to say, it's my freedom, I want to rob, you cannot agree with. Freedom is there, but freedom is limited. You can't corrupt the society. So same way what you have to realize, sister, that what we get views from different corners, it changes. It keeps on changing. Modesty is different. Suppose whatever is immodest in your view, I don't know what is immodest in your view. Fine, whatever is immodest in your view, suppose you're forced to do that to earn a living. And if someone comes as a savior and tells you, don't do that, whatever you consider immodest, I don't know what you consider immodest. You may consider immodest, maybe dancing is immodest for you, may not be modest, maybe modeling may be modest for you. So whatever is immodest for you, if you are supposed to do that type of work to earn a living because of your poverty or because of your situation that is, and if someone comes as a savior, you know, in Bombay, there are thousands of prostitutes. Not that they like doing it, because they have got an avenue, someone has forced them to do it. If some savior comes and says that what are you going to do there, I will give you your salary at doorstep, don't do it. So would you prefer not doing the immodest work and getting side doorstep, or would you prefer doing that immodest work?
Dr. Naik, I would prefer someone paying me than to be a prostitute. Yes, that's
Of course.
true.
So I'm not seeing what happened there. What I'm trying to tell you, I'm not telling you the Taliban are saviors. I'm not here to support Taliban. What I'm trying to tell you, we are getting two different views. So I, as a person who has a large following, I say, I don't know how Taliban are good or bad. You ask me on principles of Islam. For example, does Islam encourage education? Of course, I've given a talk on that. And if you see at the time of ignorance, 1400 years back, the amount of women that were educated at the time of ignorance were gents weren't educated, women were educated. So this is Islam. So you ask me on principles, killing innocent human being, it's prohibited. 9/11 is wrong. Who did? I don't know. So similarly, if you ask me on issues, I can give you 100% answer without beating around the bush. But if you ask me to blame someone, I'm telling this is media. I know when I keep on traveling, now people call me a terrorist in UK. People have banned me. So if they ban me, giving me a label, now many people may agree with it. So I said, these people will be held responsible. Have they seen me doing any act? Not just because they want to get fame, they know that I'm very popular. I know I'm getting a lot of people. I know I'm spreading Islam. These people don't want Islam to be spread in UK. So they give me a label. If they tell me Zakir is logically convincing many people, that will not be a very good news. So they have to give me a label so that people go against me.
Dr. Naik, today we live in a global world where often there are countries where both Muslims and non-Muslims live together, like in India. And in Islam, if I'm not wrong, isn't it said that no business should be done with non-Muslims, and if you're living with non-Muslims, they should be taxed?
Never, never, ever you show me any statement in the Quran which says you should not do business with non-Muslims. Never has it been said. This is misconception of media. Regarding non-Muslim being taxed, not in a secular country. If it's an Islamic country, and if non-Muslims are living, there is something like jizya tax. Now what is that jizya tax? I'll explain to you. In an Islamic country, if some people are non-Muslims, no one can force them to accept Islam, point number one. It is their freedom to choose their religion. But once they become a citizen of that country, if he's a non-Muslim, they pay a small amount of tax for the security. Because in Islam, if someone attacks that country, irrespective whether the citizen, if he's a Muslim, irrespective of the doctor, engineer, teacher, at war he has to go, if the head of the state says. But for the non-Muslim, they need not fight, they'll be protected by the Muslims. So if you ask me in India, and there are many countries, for example, where you have to go to fight. Not in India. India is not compulsory because the population is very big. In some country where the population is small, you have to be trained, irrespective of the doctor or engineer. So in Islam, what happens? The non-Muslims pay a tax for the security. I am asking you a question. Would you prefer going for war when required, or would you prefer paying a few hundred rupees? And the tax amount is not big. If you calculate now, it will just be a few hundred rupees. So would you prefer paying 400 rupees and being secured that even war takes place, I need not fight, I'll be protected by the other citizens? Or would you prefer not paying the tax and going for war? So what happens? People, they just take out of context and they blame Islam. So in Islam, if a non-Muslim is a citizen of the country, that non-Muslim citizen need not follow Islam, but they have to say, fine, we are paying you to keep us secured. And that's a very small amount. It's not a big amount. It is much less than income tax. Income tax is very high. So just as a token amount saying that we agree that you are a protectors, and if a war takes place, they need not go to war at all. They'll be protected. So this is called as jizya tax. And I'm asking a simple question. There are many non-Muslim working in Gulf countries. Where do they pay income tax? If you go to work in America, how much you have to pay? Income tax? 30%, 20%, 40%. In the Gulf countries, you don't pay income tax also. Most of the Gulf countries, there are no income tax. And they aren't paying jizya tax because they are citizens of the country. They aren't paying jizya tax, they aren't paying income tax also. So why are we seeing the good things about Islam? So what the media does, unfortunately, they pick up something, they quote out of context, like how you said that not doing business with non-Muslims. I do business with non-Muslims. But the business should not be, it should not be dishonesty. It should not be involving drugs. So the guidelines laid down that you cannot even do a Muslim. You cannot do even dishonest business with a Muslim also. As far as business is concerned, you can do any business as long as it is permitted. It is not a business which is prohibited. You can't do business of dishonesty, of cheating, of immodesty, of prostitution. You can't do this, whether Muslim or non-Muslim.
Jizya is optional.
Jizya tax.
Jizya tax.
No.
Is it optional?
No, it's compulsory.
Either you pay it or you get converted in Muslim?
No. It is if you are non-Muslim, you have to pay it for protection. If you become a Muslim, then you can't pay jizya tax, you have to fight. You cannot say, no, I don't want to fight. So if you become a Muslim, and if someone attacks the country, and if the head of the state says you have to fight, you cannot say, no, I don't want to fight, I'll pay jizya double. No. For a Muslim, there is no option. Once you become a Muslim, there is no option if the head of the state says that you have to go to fight, irrespective of the doctor or engineer or educated person, uneducated, he has no option saying, take money, I don't want to fight. No, he has to. It's compulsory. But for non-Muslim, he should be safe, and the safety money that is paying is jizya tax as a small amount, as a token saying that I accept that you protect.
I mean, is it optional that either you pay jizya tax or you get for non-Muslim, or
no option.
You get
Non-Muslim
converted as a Muslim?
No. It is not
It's
optional.
not like
if you get converted, you don't have to pay jizya tax. You have no option at all. If you are a non-Muslim, you get security from Muslims. If you become a Muslim, you cannot say, I don't want to fight. You have to fight if required. You understand, no? So it is, if you get converted, then there is a bigger burden on you. There is a bigger responsibility. You can't say, no, I cannot fight for you. If you are non-Muslim, responsibility is completely taken care by the Muslims. So there's a difference. That means it is opposite. If you get converted means you have to go and fight. You cannot even pay that tax. There is no option at all. You have to go whether you are scared or not. This is the Islamic rule.
He created the universe. To him belong the heavens and the earth. The ever living, he is the first. He's the owner of mercy. He sent his